There's no arguing that people love their cars.
We weren't arguing.
They talk about their cars, sing about their cars. Some people even look like their car. Whether it's an old car, new old car, fast car, family car, electric car, race car, two-wheel car, no-wheel car, or a car you know's parked around here somewhere. People who love their cars love to tinker with them. Some people tinker big, some people tinker small, some people tinker some degree between those two variables.
Whose voice is that?
And that's where Supercheap Auto comes in. We've been helping people tinker for 50 years. For people like Bill, Lucy, Kevin, other Kevin.
Oi, get off my car!
Didn't catch this guy's name.
It's Kevin.
Not Patrick. He doesn't shop with us. Whoever you are, whatever you drive, we'll help you make it super. Because super is our middle name. Well, technically it's our first.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to round 2 of season 9 of the East Coast V8 series, coming to you tonight from the one and only Watkins Glen in upstate New York. I'm John Van Ree. With me, I've got Mark Duggan. How are you, Mark?
Yeah, very good, John. Great to be at this track. I love this track. High risk, high reward, and always produces some great racing.
And some great racing tonight we're going to have. We've got, of course, a sprint race and a feature race. So the sprint race, 18 laps. These boys don't have to do any compulsory pit stops in that first one. It's just a straight out sprint. And then our second lap, or our second race, will see us have to do a compulsory pit stop with a top 15 reverse grid. So kind of going back to a little bit of the old F2 style format, and points are being treated in the same manner as well, with the race 1 carrying only a third of the points and race 2 will carry 2/3 of the points for the evening. So it's going to be a tough one for the boys, Mark.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I said, it's a real driver's circuit, this one, John. You really got to lay everything on the line around here to get a good lap time. But one of them tracks, as we know, it bites hard when it does bite, and you can find yourself facing the wrong way very quickly around here.
Yeah, I've seen it so many times. I've been a victim of it as well. That back to the circuit is really interesting. And we'll have a quick look at the track map while these boys are still getting themselves organised. They're at the Watkins Glen boot in upstate New York. We start downhill on the start-finish straight into turn 1, which is a very technical corner to get right with a deep apex and a deep camber. We then come roaring through turn 2, where we hook up the hill through the S's, through 3 and 4, over the bridge, and then down the back straightaway into the inner loop, the AKA bus stop. Very tough, difficult area to get yourself through right. You come out there into the outer loop, where you then come out into the chute, otherwise known as the laces. And then we head down through turn 6, and then we get to the toe, where we have to have the hard turn right up the hill, come out off top of the hill on the exit, and then we run along the sole of the boot into the heel. And then from the heel, we head up into turn 9, where we then go through the fast-flowing turn 10 and turn 11. Where you got to get those right to set yourself up for a nice, good speeds down the main straightaway. It's a tough one, Mark.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a very high-speed circuit with commitment required in some of them high-speed corners, and you really have to place the car in the correct position, especially places like inner loop and outer loop. If you are a few millimetres off line there, it's very easy for the car to drift wide, and you can end up in a huge yeah, the boys will be 100% committed like they are every week, but I expect some very, very good racing tonight.
Yeah, I'm expecting it as well. It'd be interesting to see how some of our guys go. Of course, have a quick look at the points now after round 1. No drop rounds this season, so we might jump straight on to the points as the boys are about to start quali. Very quickly, we have the overall point score. And, of course, James Scott and Darren and Dylan Rad from last week from Lob Esports absolutely dominated, leading the leaderboard. Then we had McNamara getting the wood on Gamble. But Gamble, of course, McNamara getting a 2-point licence penalty, which has been added to it. So that drops him back to 72. Those are the two boys lining up for the golden ticket at the moment. And, unfortunately, I believe Gamble is away on holidays this week. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with McNamara tonight. Connor Nixon's a further 2 points behind. Tom Freer in 6th, Riley Bilson 7th, O'Reilly and Damien Johnstone and Troy Stonestreet round out for the overall points. But when we go and have a look at that now, we break it down to our classes. Pro drivers, Scott Rudd, McMurray, Gamble, Nixon, Freer. Those boys where we expect to see them. Then we go to the Super 2 guys. Troy Stonestreet leading that series from Tim Mulford. Dave Coleman in 3rd from Fishing Motorsports. Alan Dawson not too far behind, Right Sim Racing. Chris Blanchard from WK&P in 5th. And then, of course, we'll have a look at our 3rd class, which is the vets. Sean McNamara and Scott Gamble sitting on top in that battle. And then we come back to Troy Stonestreet, Michael Stewart, Chris Blanchard, Greg Sharp. So those guys absolutely doing really well and be looking to consolidate tonight. Big shout out to Gunter and Pete Kelleher as well in the chat. Good to have you boys along as these lads are starting to roll around now to get serious for quali. So we'll try and find where James Scott is on track. He definitely is out there. He's in the middle of the bundle here as well, trying to find his way around. Big field tonight, Mark, so not going to be much room out on circuit for these boys to find a gap, and we can see all bunched together.
Yeah, you're right, John. It's going to be critical to find the correct car to follow here, because very easy for the quicker guys to get held up, and yeah, easy to lose a lot of time very quickly around here. We see Dylan Rudd peel off there to try and find a different space in the field. Comes out just in front of James, so these boys will be working together. Yeah, big field. It's a big track, long track, and it's about a minute 42 around here, minute 43. So there's plenty of space to be had, but we know what it's like when these boys get on track. They really like to pressure each other.
Yeah, they definitely do. As we'll just stay on board here with James Scott as he starts his lap, gets it going. Big shout out to Vossi, Steve Murray and Rigby in the chat as well. So quite a few out there already getting behind a few of their teammates, as we can see heading down into the S's. These Lobby Sports boys running the Ryco setups again, having a real crack at it tonight. As we see coming through the inner loop. Around through the carousel goes our championship leader, James Scott, heading down the hill now, tucked up behind Rudd, making the most of it. Start seeing a few early times getting on. Don't forget to mark tonight that because we have 2 races, 15 minutes is dead. You don't get to complete your lap. Once the clock stops at 15 minutes, these boys all have to pull it up.
And I think if we recount what happened last week, we saw quite a few quick drivers struggle to set at a time. So very critical to get a banker in early in this one, so then you can load all on the line for your second run.
Yeah, especially with the fact that you've got to get yourself in a good position so that you're within that top 15 or top 20 going into the feature race, because that's going to be long as well. And at the moment we've got Ty Delaney, the minnow from Fishy Motorsports, sitting in P1. I expect these Lob Esports boys to knock them off pretty quickly coming down the line here at the moment, as waiting for Iro Racing to catch up. And SDK, Nixon, Serrano, Gibbs, Mulford, Ty Delaney. So looking at what SDK's telling me, Mark, I've got a feeling they didn't set a good time.
At the moment I've got James Scott on top, Dylan Rudd, Tom Freer, Sean McNamara, Jordan Ross, Dylan O'Shea, Connor Nixon, Jacob O'Reilly, Teo Serrano, Robert Gibbs. That's my top 10 at the moment. So that's a quality top 10, John.
Yeah, SDK playing a little game as well, see if I can fix it up for everybody.
Of course, it's great to have young Ty Delaney here as well. He's really on the up and up, that young boy, and good to see him out here. We know he was in the server last week but didn't race, not sure what happened, but he's here tonight and looking competitive. So great to have Ty here.
Yeah, absolutely good to have Ty. Nice young fella as well. There's my iRacing playing a bit of funny buggers on my ears. Let's try and get that sorted for everybody. And definitely not sure what's going on.
Yeah, being such a long lap too, John, the boys are only going to get a couple of bites of the cherry here, so that's why it was important to get that first banker lap in, and I think what we've seen is all the top boys succeed at that at the moment, and they are all entering pit lane again to grab some fresh boots and get on their way for a second run.
Hamish, I'm drawing 62 cars, mate. It usually works, so I'm not sure what's happening at the moment. There's a little bit of a glitch going on with iRacing for me, I think. Might just go to scenic for a second. That's an iRacing glitch. How do I solve this quickly? What we might do is we might just go to a quick ad and I'll do a quick restart.
There's no arguing that people love their cars.
We weren't arguing.
They talk about their cars, sing about their cars. Some people even look like their car. Whether it's an old car, new old car, fast car, family car, electric car, race car, two-wheel car, no-wheel car, or a car you know's parked around here somewhere. People who love their cars love to tinker with them. Some people tinker big, some people tinker small, some people tinker some degree between those two variables.
Whose voice is that?
And that's where Supercheap Auto comes in. We've been helping people tinker for 50 years. For people like Bill, Lucy, Kevin, other Kevin.
Oi, get off my car!
Didn't catch this guy's name.
It's Kevin.
Not Patrick. He doesn't shop with us. Whoever you are, whatever you drive, we'll help you make it super. Because super is our middle name. There's no arguing that people love their cars.
We weren't arguing.
And people who love their cars love to tinker with them. Some people tinker big, some people tinker small, and that's where Supercheap Auto comes in. We've been helping people tinker for 50 years. For people like Bill, Lucy, Kevin, other Kevin.
Oi, get off my car!
Didn't catch this guy's name. Not Patrick. He doesn't shop with us. Whoever you are, whatever you drive, we'll help you make it super.
I love computers. Yeah, Connor Nixon's another one who has improved out of sight over the last few seasons and driving really strongly. I think if we see him with a good qualifying, I think he'll have a pretty strong race because he's been on the up for a few seasons now and just gets better and better every week. And that
Okay,
small
couple of
team
people.
that they're in, they've Jacob
There's gonna be
O'Reilly
a
as well.
single, slow it down.
He's doing really well, driving exceptionally well. So they've got a good little team going there, and they seem to be good for each other. So we're down to 4 minutes to go, John. So I think if we don't get out on a fresh set of boots right now, I think you can call it time because, like you said, once the 15 minutes is up, there's no refund. Your lap time is finished and you have to have crossed the line for it to count. So I think if you're not out on track now or just about to get out on track on fresh rubber, then you're not going to get another lap in.
How are you, Scotty? Thank you for letting me know my mic wasn't turned up. But definitely these guys running out of time here to get the job done. As James Scott, Dylan Rudd, Tom Frere, McNamara, Ross looking to take the lead with what's going on. Just apologies a little bit for SDK. Not sure what's going on this evening with that. Just trying to get it sorted for us. Not loving qualifying.
Keeping an eye on Cam Jones. I know Cam, great, quick young driver and in a good team, but he's been struggling for qualifying. I know he really struggled last week. He didn't set a lap, but I think he's just been able to get over the line then with a 1:45.920. So that gets him on the grid and a bit further up than where he started last week, which was around 42nd place. But he did have an exceptional race last week and passed a lot of cars.
Yeah, and that is going to be tough to do tonight at the best of times, Mark. I think this place is hard for getting the overtake done. As we can see, McNamara still on track. He's circulating, doing really well as he heads up into the toe of the boot. He's getting down to 1:20, so you need to be on track. You need to be on your hot lap at the moment if you're going to get this job done. McNamara, our leading man for the golden ticket. He'd love to get himself back into the Pro Series. And one of the...
Sorry, John, I was about to say, I think Sean's one of them drivers that I think most competitors and most viewers would be happy to see in the Pro Series.
Yeah,
Absolute gentleman of sim racing and a great driver as well. So, yeah, let's just hope that he can keep up his performances and possibly be in with a chance with that golden ticket.
So there's been an incident with Freeman, Colangello and Kirby, so not sure what's happened there, but I'm sure race control will be all over that one. Might just leave that for them to look at as we're down to the last 15 seconds. So Damien Johnstone in the back of the circuit, he's hoping to get across. I don't think he's going to make it. Robert Gibbs, I don't think he's going to make it either, but Johnstone, clock's ticked down, he's missed the lap like that. So qualifying is done and dusted. So let's have a look at the grid, Mark, as we flick through. On pole, we have James Scott from, he hasn't updated his, but from Lob Esports alongside his teammate Dylan Rudd. James setting a 1:43.877, so a cracking time to get around this track. On the second row from Synergy Sim Racing, we see Tom Freer alongside Sean McNamara from 9.5 Sim Sports. The third row, we have Ross the Boss from Synergy Sim Racing alongside 9.5 Sim Sports, Dylan O'Shea. Keep an eye out for Dylan. I expect him to try and get himself in on the podium tonight. Jacob O'Reilly, another great one. Great result from him, sitting in 7th. Thomas Freeman sitting in 8th. Connor Nixon, as we talked about before, from Vermeulen Motorsports in 9th. Robbie Gibbs from Evolution Racing Team sitting in 10th. And then from Pursuit Sim Racing, we have Teo Serrano in 11th and Damien Johnstone sitting in 12th. And it's a huge grid tonight. We'll keep going. Craig Schultz from 9.5 Sim Sports, former Super 2 champion. Keep an eye out for him. Tim Mulford from Phoenix Racing. Great result for him, getting himself so far up the grid here in 14th. Anthony Visma from Accelerate Sim Racing in 15th. Alongside the Minnow from Fishy Motorsports, Ty Delaney. Get around this young fella. Keep an eye on him. 16 is a fantastic result. Right behind him is the young fella from 9.5 Sim Sports, Zach McDonald. Them two are going to have a great contest. And then in 18th, we've got Michael Stewart from Hypersonic Racing representing the Balin Stewart Foundation. And then, of course, in 19th, we've got Travis Hunt from Team Scorpion. Rick Sibra in 20th from Frog Leap Juiced Racing. Cam Jones sitting in 21st from 9.5 Sim Sports. Expect him to move up through the field. Will Buchanan in 22nd. 23rd is Jeff Thomas from JWN Esports. And in 24th, we've got Dylan Gray, our current Super 2 champion from SLM Motorsports. And then we roll over the page to Simon Chadwick making his return to sim racing this season in 9.5 Sim Sports colours. Chris Blanchard from WK&P in 26th and Alan Dawson in 27th from Riot Sim Racing alongside Damien Cross from Pacific Esports. And then in 29th, we have Tim Hancock, who is alongside WK&P's Greg Sharp. And then 31st is Team Jinx Shifters' Aaron Gilbert, alongside JWN Motorsports' Steve Tonkins. Ryan Carlson from Carlson Motorsports in 33rd is alongside the man in 34th, Dave Kirby from Fishy Motorsports. Will Munro from Simrig Infinity Motorsports in 35th is alongside Russell Gander in 36th. As we go over the page, we then get ourselves to Matt Keane in 37th from SLM Motorsports alongside WK&P's Blake Gallen in 38. Oceana Colangello in 39th alongside Jason Stroller. Matt Shanahan in 41st. 42nd is Andrew Johnson from Team AJR. Peter Pavlik is sitting in 43rd for Pacific Esports. These guys are gridding. Gallen, Stone Street, Mr. Time. And we're going to go racing, guys. Sorry if I didn't get to the end of the grid.
That was a real mouthful there, John.
As a good start from Scott. He gets himself across in front of Rudd. A little bit further back, though. We're going to go in here 2 or 3 wide in turn 1. Hopefully these boys all get through, and it looks like they have. Starting to get into single file now as we head up into the S's. It's Scott, Rudd, Freer, McNamara, Ross, Riley, O'Shea, Freeman, Nixon, Serrano, rounding out our top 10 at the moment. Heading into the bus stop for the first time. These guys absolutely flying down this back straightaway. In through the inner loop. Bouncing over the curbs, there's McNamara. Freer parked up in second. Sorry, in third. It's tucked right up behind. Scott not getting his usual breakaway here, Mark. Was Rudd managing to hang on. And there's been an incident with McNamara, Scholler, Aaron Gilbert and Greg Sharp has also been noted. So there's a couple of incidents race control are looking at. It's been a cracking start from these lads.
Yeah, everybody off to a fairly clean start. A couple of issues down the back of the grid, but yeah, big toe up that back straight for Dylan Rudd. He's been able to stay in touch with James Scott, as has most of the field there, nose to tail at the moment, and everyone's looking nice and settled early on in this race.
Definitely lap 1 has been an absolute flyer for this top 10. As Freer tucked up behind Scott and Rudd at the moment, as we're about to come through the final 2 turns of the circuit. As into turn 11 now, about to come down the start-finish straight. Tom Freer, he's got the two Lob Esports cars in front, and then he has tucked right up behind him Sean McNamara. McNamara will be looking to consolidate here, knowing that those 3 blokes in front of him are already in the Pro Series. He wants that golden ticket He's got to get himself hanging on the back of Freya here. Ross the Boss is another man desperate to get that ticket as well. So he'll be looking for a good result. There's some great little start here. And of course, James Scott, only 2/10 back to Rudd. So definitely not the start we usually see from him.
Yeah, I think James Scott, the only person in the field not getting a toe at the moment, so he's dragging the whole field around with him. So James working extremely hard, but he's used to this type of racing. He's used to leading from the front, and I don't expect him to give up anything easily at all. And we've got his teammate Dylan Rudd right behind him, and I don't think he's going to shake off Dylan too quickly with that big pedal. So just seeing a move. Someone getting past Connor Nixon there.
It's not good.
That was
Robbie
Robert
Gibbs.
Yeah.
Robbie Gibbs making the move.
Yeah, nice tidy move there from Robbie. He's another great racer from the Evolution racing stable. Always out there doing a good job. Races very clean and a very quick driver in his own right.
Yeah, Robbie, been with us before here at East Coast. Definitely knows how to handle that Mustang. Very strong team of drivers at ERT, led by Brenton O'Brien. And we can see how Robert goes here. He's up one spot already. The other one is up one spot, of course, is Jacob O'Reilly as well, the Vermeulen Motorsports driver. He's made a move. And the other guy we're talking about was Cam Jones earlier. He's made 4 spots. He's our biggest charger in the front half of the grid. And you can see he's tucked up right behind Cam, right behind Ty Delaney at the moment. The Minot feeling all the pressure, stays to the inside. Jones goes outside, gets the job done. Ty playing it smart there, not going to fight it. Great to see from a young fella.
Yeah, great to see such a mature head on a young driver there. Ty just managing his own race, not worrying about what everyone else is doing, just looking after his own interests, and just lifted off the throttle a little bit there and allowed Cam Jones through. And pretty wise move, I think, personally, and he'll just tuck up behind Cam and latch back onto the back of the group in front.
Oh, on the grass there a little bit, but he's definitely pushing forward. Dylan O'Shea, he's under a lot of pressure from Jacob O'Reilly now. O'Shea, I would have thought, would have been putting the pressure on Ross the Boss, but he is definitely getting all of O'Reilly's efforts put into him. Jacob doing really well here.
Yeah, I think if I recall correctly, Dylan O'Shea probably overtook the most cars last week, only to have a disconnect with a lap or two to go. So, and I think he was in 4th place when he disconnected, but he'd passed 40 cars or something. So it was a really bit of bad luck there for Dylan, but he's a real fighter. He's a great driver, and he won't be giving up anything easily either.
Nah, definitely. These 9.5 boys have definitely come to race tonight. And head down the back straightaway.
Not too many gaps in this field tonight, John. There's pretty close racing right through the field at the moment. The train goes all the way back down to, I think it's Colangelo is the one that's just off the back of the train at the moment.
Yeah, might jump a bit further back. This bloke here, Dave Coleman, up 13 spots. Another one of the Fishy Motorsports drivers. He's dropped a little bit off the back of Hancock. Hancock definitely on the back of the train. Some of our Super 2 guys having an absolute battle back here. So you've got Hancock, Gilbert, Cross, Sharp. These guys all hanging on to the back. Blanchard in that battle as well. Goes all the way up through Dawson, up to Chadwick. Chadwick's managed to get himself a little bit ahead of Buchanan, but he's putting the pressure on Jeff Thomas. Jeff, one of our Mets drivers as well. So he would definitely be trying to make the most of the battle here. And going back up towards the front again, we'll go back to Dylan O'Shea, Jacob O'Reilly. These boys here definitely having a great little run. McNamara still hasn't managed though to make an indent on Freya.
No, it's just starting to see James Scott edge out a little bit here from his teammate Dylan Rudd. Tom Freya hanging on tightly to Dylan Rudd, and he's not letting that one go. Sean's just lost a couple of car lengths there to Tom Freya, and he's got Jordan Ross all over the back of him. So Sean will be desperate to try and hang on to Freya's pole here at the moment. He just really needs to try and puff back in behind Freya, otherwise he's going to see Jordan Ross pounce going up into the buff top there.
Yeah, definitely under a little bit of pressure, trying to work his way out, and it's hard to believe we're only lap 5 of 18 at the moment. This sprint race definitely going to the wire, as we see our man Cam Jones going side to side with the one and only Anthony Visma from Accelerate Sim Racing. These two boys into the toe of the boot now, side by side. This is some great driving from these two, very respectful. This is what we'd love to see here at East Coast. As Jones manages to get the job done going into the hill. Next target up the road for Cam now is Timmy Mulford. Jones might jump back up, check on Jacob O'Reilly. Again, he's still tucked up behind O'Shea. Freeman in this battle as well. And then not to mention Robert Gibbs hanging on to the back.
Yeah, good to have Thomas Freeman back as well. I think he missed last week, but he's had a good qualifying tonight, and yeah, currently sitting in 8th spot, doing a great job. Love the way Thomas goes about his racing. He's a very, very smart racer, and his tactics are always on point. So, yeah, good to have Thomas back, and yeah, good to have a pretty big complement of fishy drivers here tonight.
Yeah, definitely feels like the school is in, as he's all over the back of O'Reilly. O'Reilly taking a lot of pressure. It's going to go back to Timmy Mulford. Timmy Mulford is tucked up behind Craig Schultz. These two have had plenty of good battles over the last couple of seasons. Of course, with Schultz winning the Super 2, he's gone up into the pros. But these two still working pretty hard, and Cam Jones hunting down the back of these two real quick. Has a bit of a look, puts it back up in behind. As you're saying, Mark, you've really got to hang on to that slipstream around this place, and I feel these boys starting to lose it a little bit.
Yeah, as soon as you lose it, John, it makes you vulnerable to the car behind, because yeah, if you're not getting a tow, the car behind you is definitely getting one. So,
ooh,
yeah,
Schultz. Definitely puts him out wide. What can Mulford do here? Tucks in back behind him. I thought the pass was on.
Yeah, it's all about getting drive off these corners around here. Watkins, you really need to get some good drive, and you need to be on the race line in most corners here.
Absolutely. And just answering a comment in the chat. Yes, Gunter, if you raced in East Coast, I'd respect you in the morning. Particularly if you do good clean overtakes, as these boys are doing here in this battle. Mulford now wedged in between the two 95 Sim Sports cars, heading down the back straight away. Mulford pulls out to have a look, opens the door for Jones to try and slip in. Mulford's trying to hang on into the inner loop. Schultz is through, Mulford's loose. Schultz on the grass. Oh, all happening. Yeah, Jay, definitely. Mulford's got himself in front of both of them now. Jones is going to slip in front of Schultz here, and it is going to be on again. Not to mention Visma's now on the back with Ty Delaney and McDermott. And someone stopped off the back, one of the Juice boys. Not sure which one it was. Might be Rick Sibber, I think.
It looks like Sibber.
So not sure what happened to Rick.
How nobody ended up in the wall there, John, is beyond me. That was everybody hanging on for dear life there. It was some great door-to-door battling there without anybody giving, scraping any paint. So great battling here. Now Cam Jones is all over the back of Timmy Mulford here, and Tim is such a tenacious driver. He doesn't give away anything. He might not be the quickest out there, but he has always got the widest Commodore on track.
Yeah, definitely works very hard at it. It's going to go a bit forward. They're battling again pretty close up front when we start having a look again with O'Reilly, Freeman, O'Shea. O'Reilly now under a lot of pressure from Thomas Freeman, lap 8 of 18. So just about at the halfway point of this sprint race. These boys working extra hard at the moment. We have to be a bit careful, look after the tyres. Looks like Sibera was involved in something with Dylan Gray. We might have a quick look at the replay, Mark. Go to the Supercheap Auto replay. That's him coming back on. And go to this one. A little bit aside there. We'll leave that one for race control to sort out. That's how Sibera ended up in the barrier.
Yeah, never mind when you're in the barrier and facing the wrong way. He does get going again. Yeah, real shame for Rick there.
Yeah, very much a shame. Let's jump a bit further down. Check on young Zach McDonald from 9.5 Sim Sports. He's still in the middle of this battle pack, of course, with Visma, Delaney, McDonald, Travis Hunt. So young Ty doing really well. So
you can see even in this mid-pack, John, they're working just as hard as the people up front, and the racing is just as fierce all the way in this mid-pack. There's no rest for anybody around here tonight.
No, definitely not. Definitely not any rest. Just going to check on Sean McMurray at these boys up front. So Macca still sitting in fourth. He's dropped back now 2.5 seconds to Freya, so he's lost that slipstream that we talk about. And something's happened between a few boys going into the pits. I'm not sure why. Something's happened between Jordan Ross and Schultz. So I'm not sure of that one, Pete. Nothing's shown up in my list, so not sure what's happened between J. Ross, but he's still sitting in 5th. And Schultz is still all the way back in 12th, so I'm not sure what's happened there, but Cam Jones is up 11 spots now and has got himself into the top 10. Been a great drive from the 9.5 Sim Sports racer, but he's got himself 2.5 seconds to get onto the back of Damien Johnstone. He's going to go back. Damien Cross in a little bit of a battle here with Steve Tonkin. Tonkin's managed to get himself through going down the back straightaway. Hancock in front of them, I think, was the one on the grass. Troy Stone Street's up 11 spots back in 34th after a poor qualifying. So very costly, but he's all over the back of young Blake Gallen from WK&P. Not sure, Pete, what happened. They've noted it, but I haven't seen anything in my notes, so hopefully we might hear something. Maybe Quinton might be able to tell us. So car 52 gets a drive through for contact with 06. So that, of course, I have to work out that one. 52.
Dylan Gray.
Dylan Gray, yep. So that would have been the one that we replayed earlier. So good little battles everywhere through the pack still. Jeff Thomas, he's under a lot of pressure from Chadwick. So Chadwick definitely driving quite well at the moment as well, getting himself back into rhythm. Another one of the 9.5 Sim Sports drivers and the JWM Motorsport or Esports, Jeff Thomas here, doing really well as well. Regular Split 1 driver in Vets. Great to see him out here having a crack. Zach McDonald, he has Travis Hunt right up behind him. So young Zach under a bit of pressure here. Trav trying to work a way around. And a little bit further back from Trav, we've got Michael Stewart. And of course, Stewie representing the Bale and Stewart Foundation. And if you're up on the Sunshine Coast, the Balin Stewart Foundation on the 20th of January are having a walk for Balin, and highly recommend you jump online, search on Facebook for the Balin Stewart Foundation, get in behind the walk for Balin. It's a great cause, trying to get the knives out of the hands of our youth, our young people, to try and stop unfortunate accidents from happening. So great cause. Us here at WK&P and also here at East Coast, we heavily support the Balin Stewart Foundation. We have the Balin Stewart Foundation logo running on the rear banner of all of our Pro and Super 2 cars. And yeah, a great cause. And if you're on the Sunshine Coast on the 20th, go along, get some exercise. I know if I was up that way, I'd be going. And yeah, it'd be great to see them get a good rollout for that event.
Yeah, absolutely, John. Michael Stewart, absolutely legend of the vet sim racing community. Great to have him here in East Coast. Some of the things he's had to endure as a parent and as a father, nobody you would wish on nobody, and he's just an outstanding human being and a real pillar of the community. And yeah, if you're up, like John said, if you're on the Sunshine Coast, get out there and support that foundation.
Yeah, absolutely. Sean McNamara now still under a lot of pressure from Ross the Boss. This is the one, boys. This is the battle that we've all been looking forward to. This is El Supremo versus El Supremo. And they are having a cracking drive here, these two. This be like saying Zach Brown versus Lawrence Stroll. For those who follow Formula One, this is how epic these two are on track side by side. And you can see you've got O'Shea, Freeman, Gibbs all lining up the back here, waiting to have a crack at these guys.
There's still 7 pressure-filled laps to go for these boys. So, yeah, Sean's really doing an outstanding job hanging on here. And I've got no doubt he's feeling the pressure from Jay Ross, but at the moment he's doing everything he needs to do, and yeah, he's still got to survive another 7 laps. So not sure who's got the low downforce running, but he's gonna definitely need it going up that back straight heading into the bus stop.
Definitely. Like we said, it goes all the way back with these guys. As we jump on board with Freeman looking forward. No, this is the battle for 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th and 8th with Gibbs tucked up behind. These are all critical positions, and don't forget, going into race 2, we flipped the grid. Top 15 are reversed. So at the moment, that would see Ty Delaney, the minnow from Fishy, sitting in P1.
Just see J Ross make that move into the bus stop, and he's taken that 4th position away from Sean McNamara. So nice move there from J Ross. No real surprises. I think it was always going to come, and now he's going to be the one to have to defend next time around heading up that back straight.
Definitely. And just jumping forward, Thomas Freer now is putting all the pressure on Dylan Rudd. So lap 12 of 18. Still got a couple of laps to go here. These boys working overtime. Just I'll take the opportunity too, while we're looking at these two cars, to thank our banner sponsor, Wodonga Carts and Parts. Great to have them getting their logo on the banners this season. And of course, if you're going to get your logo on the banners next season, feel free to come and have a chat to Ash and the boys in the league admin. But definitely Dylan under a lot of pressure from Freer. We'll keep an eye on that battle. Going to jump back to Freeman. These guys all here, nose to tail as well. So definitely getting a great little battle out of these lads. Let's just jump on board. Running back through. So Ross has managed to pull out a little bit on McNamara.
Just had someone request a tow, so I'm not sure if they're going to get a safety car here or whether they're going to allow him to tow. I think in between turns.
Yeah, not sure either. Not many laps left. There's got 5 laps left. So usually they try, unless it's an obvious block of the track, they'll usually try and keep it running when it's this late in the race, so the race can run itself out. And the car there parked off the side, relatively safe position, I think. So that's Dylan Gray, of course, parked there. So it'll be interesting to see where that puts him in the points calculations.
Yeah, you really can't afford to drop anything this season, especially being such a short season.
And no drop rounds as well, so yeah.
No drop rounds, you cannot afford a bad race at all, so finishing is a premium every week.
Jump on board for a lap with Freeman here. Seen tucked up behind Dylan O'Shea, gets a good drive, closes that gap right down. We start talking hundredths of a second at one stage there, back to 0.2 of a second now. Got to follow him through the S's, there's nowhere to pass here. Needs a good exit coming up over the bridge. Needs to be right on the bumper of O'Shea to get the draft here, to have an opportunity to get him going into the inner loop. So you're closing down. Not going to get it quite done here. Now, I've got to let the car ride over the curbs, not be too aggressive through here. Then into the outer loop. This is where patience kicks in. You've got to let the car settle. Get back on the gas now. Drive it right out to the outer curb. Come down in through the laces. Same thing again. Patient again. Let the car drive on. Coming down now into the toe. This is where it gets a little bit tricky. You got a nice big camber here. Track turns uphill, pulls the car up a little bit quicker than you think it will. And then once you get yourself onto the top of the hill here, you got to punch it through. Coming up into the heel of the boot. 90-degree corner. This one, not so much a good camber, but the same thing again. You got to get that drive through and get it out. And we come up through. This is a reverse camber through this one as we come back onto the short section of the track. Into the last 2 turns now, into turn 10 coming up in front of us. Good camber on this one too, so you want to let the car flow. You want to get a good gear, through in 4th even. No, good speed. You want to carry that speed now into the last one. A little bit tighter corner, good camber again, drive it out. All done in 4th. Feel the wall, get yourself right out near it. And then down the straightaway here, tuck up behind, have a look over the draft. Hope you can pull it up. He's going to have a crack. Goes deep, allows the over and under. Back through goes O'Shea. And that, my friend, is a lap of this Watkins Glen's boot.
Well, the previous lap, Dylan was a little bit later on the brakes and held off Thomas. That time Thomas was the one who went a little bit deeper and Dylan just opened up the steering a bit, gave him the space, but I think Dylan knew that Thomas had overcommitted and he was always going to pounce on the exit. Great bit of racing there. Boys coming up on a little bit of lap traffic here. Lap traffic giving them plenty of room, which is good to see.
Yeah, great to see with this little battle going on here. As these guys having an absolute cracking contest. Gunther. And continuing through, these boys will go all the way. It's going to go back up the front. Dylan Rudd's only 3/10 ahead of Thomas Freeman again. Dave Coleman's just been in an incident. Not sure what the story is. Going to go Supercheap Auto replay. I think he's just might be getting out of the way a little bit. iRacing saying he's had an incident. He has pulled it up, so maybe he has blown an engine or something like that, I would say. Looking at that one, Mark.
Yeah, that's a shame for Dave. I hope he's able to continue, but just looking at Thomas Frere, he's really putting pressure on Dylan Rudd here, and James Scott's been able to skip clear. He's got a 4.5 second lead now with only 3 laps to go. So I don't know if Thomas has got enough drive to get past
Go ahead.
Dylan Rudd going up the back straight. I
Can
think
you check that on the
got
screen?
plenty of
And I also
straight line
made
speed.
Yeah, definitely, Mark. A good contest. Tom Freer. He's going to get right up behind here. And coming around the outer loop. Just going to go back. That battle with O'Shea and stuff still going on. We'll come back to that one in a minute. It's going to go a bit further back. Travis Hunt is tucked right up behind Visma.
Just noticed Cam Jones being able to catch Damien Johnson and get past as well. So Cam's having an outstanding race.
Yeah, up 12 spots. That is an awesome effort considering he started a little bit further back on the grid. And these boys doing really, really well. But not many laps to go. Like 16 of 18, so nearly at the end here. So I can't see him closing down that 7-second gap. Some good battles everywhere. Teo Serrano, he's in a great little battle pack with Blake Gallen and Troy Stonestreet. And I think Jason Shalia from Pacific Esports up in front of him. So these guys are having a real good battle as well. I think Matt Keane hanging at the back of these boys as well. So good racing everywhere. It's great to see these guys all having a bit of a dip.
Yeah, not sure what happened to Teo Serrano there, John, because he did qualify up around top 10, top 15, so he's fallen back significantly. Yeah, not sure if he had an issue or had an accident, but that's a shame for him. He's in a real strong team, and I'm sure he'll be disappointed to fall that far back.
Yeah, I did see him duck into the pits, so I wasn't sure why he went in, because I didn't recall seeing anything get called in. Jacob O'Reilly was another one who ducked into the pits before as well, so...
Maybe them boys haven't read the regulations for the night.
That's the only thing I can think of, because it's all laid out in the track race information. So it was basically race 1, of course, 18 laps. Race 2, 25 laps, 10 a.m. start time in sim, dynamic sky, temp 18, wind is 12 kph from the northeast. Humidity 3, track state at the start of the night was 50%. 1 fast repair, unlimited fuel, incident points is 17, compulsory pit stop, 1 in race 2 must go up on jacks, race 2 top 15 grid reversed. So yeah, not sure whether they misread that. Anyway, we will see what the story is later on, maybe. Let's just jump back up. Tom Freer has got past Rudd. So that is a great move from Tom. It's going to quickly go to the replay with that as we're on the white flag lap now. He's got it done going into turn 10. Interesting spot to do it. Sorry? I think that was turn 10. I think that was coming out of the boot. But he's done very well to achieve that.
Yeah, going to be interesting to see if Tom gets a little bit sideways there, just coming onto the back straight, which is really going to give Dylan a pretty easy pass here, I think.
Side by side into the inner loop. Freer manages to hang on. Car's loose though, opens the door up a little bit, a little bit of overlap here, side by side in the outer loop. It's pretty impressive for the spots on the podium. These guys battling for second. Freer on the inside, going through the laces now, heading down to the toe. Freer back in front as Rudd looking left, looking right. Gets into the outside. Nice placement of the car from Freer. A little bit loose from Rudd. Freer positioning the car really well again. That looks up the inside. A buzzer fate pulls him back behind. It's going to go up the road though. Check out this fella here, because he is about to use his 7 seconds ahead to get himself over the line through the second last corner. Another great drive from our championship champion, the one and only James Scott. He's going to bring himself across the line for first. Going to drop back to Rudd and Freer. Looks like Freer's going to hang on for P2. It's only going to be 1/10 in it. That was close. Going to go back to Ross the Boss. He's got the job done on McNamara. O'Shea coming home in 6th. Freeman in 7th. Gibbs in 8th. Cam Jones up 12 spots into 9th. Great drive from him. Damien Johnstone in 10th. Mulford 11th. Craig Schultz gets himself home in 13th. 14th will be Trav. And then we will see Visma. Young Ty Delaney in 16th. Visma will go out P1 with the reverse grid. That is going to be nerve-wracking. Trav Hunt sharing the front row with him.
A bit of pressure coming up for Anthony Visma. Great drive there from James Scott, as we see every week. And Thomas Freer really doing an outstanding job. And got to commend Dylan Rudd there too, keeping that clean. A lot of people would have just stuck their nose up there and wished for the best at the bus stop. But Dylan played it smart, raced clean, and did an outstanding job. And he's a great young driver. And I think, you know, he should be commended for not doing anything silly there just to regain one position.
Yeah, definitely done really good. And definitely some good drives from a few of these lads. And we've got another race coming up. We've got another 25 laps. So... Yeah.
Yeah, pretty interesting situation there with this top thing reverse. We've got some guys who are quick in their own right, but don't have the outright pace of the front runners. So they're going to come under pressure very, very quickly.
Yeah, it is going to be interesting to see how they cope with that pressure. We might just quickly go to a 60-second ad while these guys get ready for the warm-up. We'll have a bit of a chat with what's going on. The boys from Shadow Racing are in the house as well for the first time. And, of course, Mick Clifton as well, cheering on Visma. He'll be excited to see the Viz starting on pole in race 2. Looking forward to that. We'll be with you guys again in about a minute.
There's no arguing that people love their cars.
We weren't arguing.
They talk about their cars, sing about their cars. Some people even look like their car. Whether it's an old car, new old car, fast car, family car, electric car, race car, two-wheel car, no-wheel car, or a car you know's parked around here somewhere. People who love their cars love to tinker with them. Some people tinker big, some people tinker small, some people tinker some degree between those two variables.
Whose voice is that?
And that's where Supercheap Auto comes in. We've been helping people tinker for 50 years. For people like Bill, Lucy, Kevin, other Kevin.
Oi, get off my car!
Didn't catch this guy's name.
It's Kevin.
Not Patrick. He doesn't shop with us. Whoever you are, whatever you drive, we'll help you make it super. Because super is our middle name. Well, technically it's our first.
Yeah, of course, huge thank you to our sensational sponsors being Supercheap Auto, BCF, Rebel Sports, MacPack, Barilla Cabinets, WK&P, Wodonga Carts and Parts, and of course the pool guys in Adelaide. And a huge thank you, of course, to Complete Scaffolding, our safety car sponsor. So definitely make sure you look after our sponsors because we can't produce this without having them on board. And definitely looking forward to this next race, Mark. The pit stop's going to make it interesting. Being 25 laps, do you just chuck her up on the jacks, take a litre of fuel, or do you put new tyres on? That will be the question being asked by a lot of these drivers. And it'll be very interesting to see what they choose to do.
Yeah, I think we'll find. I'd be surprised if people don't take tyres. I think towards the end of that race, with Dylan Rudd and Tom Freer really struggling for grip on that final lap. So for me, I'd definitely be taking tyres because I think you would make that time back up on the track quite quickly.
Yeah, definitely. I think I'd be taking the tyres. I think this is another interesting place where when you lose grip, it gets very hard, very quick. But, you know, you're talking, really, you're kind of talking, though, 7 or 8 seconds. So you've really got to weigh up how much am I going to lose over 25 laps or over that extra, you know, 6 laps, 7 laps.
Yeah, but I think that that fresh tyre is probably worth at least a second and a half on that out lap. So I think you'd make that up fairly quickly, personally. But these boys are probably got a lot better tactical brain than I've got. Just have to wait and see how they play it. But I would imagine all the quick drivers are going to want to take tyres because they love their grip.
Scott Jordanson, the briefing that came out from league management for the track conditions for the evening stipulated that there was only a compulsory pit stop in the second race, being a sprint and feature setup. Yeah, so just be conscious of that one, that the track conditions put in by league management usually stipulates those conditions. So yeah, very interesting on that one.
Yeah, well, we saw most drivers not take a pit stop, so I think most drivers read the SUP regs for the night correctly, and those that did pit obviously didn't read the reg correctly. So I think most people got it right. So boys are gridding up now. They're not going to extend the gridding time, so everybody needs to get out there quick.
Yeah, and I'll just quickly go. Visma, Hunt, McDonald, Schultz, Mulford, Johnstone, Jones, Gibbs, Freeman, O'Shea, McNamara, Ross, and then we go over the page to Rudd, Freer, James Scott, Ty Delaney sitting in 16th, probably a good spot to be sitting this evening. And then Stewart, Chadwick, Thomas, Dawson, Blanchard, Sharp, O'Reilly, Buchanan, Hancock, Tonkin, Nixon, Gilbert, Kirby, Cross, and then Serrano, Shollier, Keane, Stone Streets, Gallen, Sibria. And then over the page from there, Pavlik, Munro, Carlson, Jono, Gander, Shannon, Oceana, Coleman, Gallen, John, Dylan Gray, Richard Barella is our safety car. Going to go into race mode, going to jump on board with the Viz. What can the Viz do from Accelerate Sim Sport? The lights are out and we are away. It is a great little start. Some movers and shakers up the back. Plenty of smoke as well, but we'll let that go. The Viz has got himself through. Zach McDonald has got himself into P2. Schultz into P3. Hunt's gone back a little bit. He's lost 3 already. Cam Jones in 6th, 7th. So definitely some moving and shaking going on. This has allowed the Viz to get out to a second already.
Yeah, we saw Zach McDonald there overcommit a little bit into turn 1. It was able to just hang on, but Craig Schultz has got himself into P2. Behind Craig Schultz, I think we've got Travis Hunt and then Damien Johnson. So these boys are working really hard in these opening couple of corners. And there's going to be no let up because the fast boys are going to want to come through as quickly as possible.
As it settles down, we've got Visma, Schultz, McDonald. It did settle down. Gonna have a look down the back. Bloody hell, John.
Jordan Ross and Dylan Rudd battling hard there. James Scott just putting a move on Timmy Mulford. So James is going to tuck up behind his teammate in a minute. Robbie Gibbs looking for a way around Tim Mulford as well, but Timmy's got that very wide Commodore. So Robbie Gibbs gets some good drive, should be able to get this move done.
Greg Sharp just involved in an incident. He had a spin here on turn 11. It looks like someone's giving him a little bit of a tap. Not sure what the story is there. We'll work that one out a bit later.
He's got going again.
jump back to live pictures. I thought that settled it down. Might just go to a quick 30-second ad, Mark, if you want to try something and see if it works for me.
There's no arguing that people love their cars.
We weren't arguing.
And people who love their cars love to tinker with them. Some people tinker big, some people tinker small. And that's where Supercheap Auto comes in. We've been helping people tinker for 50 years. For people like Bill, Lucy, Kevin, other Kevin.
Oi, get off my car!
Didn't catch this guy's name. Not Patrick. He doesn't shop with us. Whoever you are, what?
Let's jump back on there. We definitely got a little bit under control again now. It's like the blur has stopped, so apologies for that again. The Viz is still the man out in front. Craig Schultz has himself in second. Zach McDonald in third. Travis Hunt in fourth. Dylan O'Shea in fifth. Sixth is Jones. O'Shea's already moved up 5 spots. James Scott is still in 10th. He's only got himself up 5 spots as well. So definitely a little bit of work is going to get itself sorted out there. As these boys got to be patient, I think, Mark, is the key.
Damien Johnson's had a spin, and Sean McNamara had nowhere to go. I don't know how much damage that Sean's got, but Sean has already lost 5 spots from his starting position, which will not help him for that golden ticket. Hopefully he hasn't got too much damage. He will have a fast repair, so if we see him pit, we know he's got damage, and he does. He elects to pit.
Let's go back to live pictures. Still getting a bit of hiccup here, so it didn't settle itself down. I don't know what's going on. Anyway, might have to do another restart. So we might go old school again, Mark. Go back to the old
Talk it through while we don't have pictures.
No, that's just settled again. So we might be okay. I'm not sure what's going on this evening. I've had this one problem before. Zach McDonald is done really well. He's still sitting in 4th. Trav Hunt in 5th. Freeman is 6th. So he's managed to move himself up 3 spots already. Ross is up 4 spots, 5 spots now. So that's Cam Jones in the fence. What's happened to Cam? So he's got himself a slight little tap there. I'm not sure whether that was Ross behind him, but he's found the barrier. That is going to definitely shake things up, as my iRacing, I think, has just decided to completely shake everything up.
That's a real shame for Cam Jones. Looked like he did get a slight touch on corner entry there with Jordan Ross, and just got unsettled on the ripple strip. So that won't be too pleasing for Cam. I know he takes his racing pretty seriously, and he is a pretty serious racer and loves to race hard, but yeah, he won't be too happy about that. It was only the very slightest of taps, but it was enough to unsettle him. Sean McNamara did take that pit stop after making contact with Damien Johnson, after Damien Johnson had a spin in front of him. So Sean has fallen all the way to the rear of the pack. He's got his compulsory done. He's got the repair of the car, and he's going to have an awfully long race on them tyres with still 22 laps to go.
Yeah, definitely going to be some hard work for him there. As I'm just going to be rather annoying here. I'm not a happy camper, but I'll try and sort this out for everybody as it comes good and then goes bad. So Dylan O'Shea working his way through here. I'm just going to see if I can reset this. So just you keep talking, Mark. I'll have this back in a jiffy.
Yep, no problem. So the big movers so far tonight is Rick Sibra's up 16 spots. We've got Ryan Carlson up 17. David Coleman's up 20. So at the back end of the field, we've got some big movers. Anthony Visma doing an outstanding job, still out in front. He's got just under 2 seconds on Dylan O'Shea, who's been able to make up 8 positions. So that's a pretty handy start there for Dylan, and I think Dylan's going to be putting the pressure on for the race win here. James Scott, he's up 8 places. He's gone from 15th into 7th, so James starting to stamp his authority on this race as well. He's got a couple of quick guys in front of him, but we know how well James races. He's got Jordan Ross just in front of him at the moment, and Jordan is certainly no easy man to pass, and those two boys are former teammates. So, we've got a car facing the wrong way on the exit of turn 5, I think it is.
At turn 5.
It's Dylan Rudd.
Dylan Rudd. That is very interesting. I'll see if I can get live pictures back for everybody. And hopefully should have something in 2 seconds. There we go. Dylan Rudd. I probably didn't catch that one, Mark, unfortunately. I've got him leaving the pits, but I haven't got him doing anything else. So Rudd is in the pits at the moment.
So it's Dylan Rudd and Travis Hunt. Dylan's up the inside of Travis. I don't know that Travis actually realised he was there on exit, and there was a slight touch on the exit, and it was enough to send Dylan around in circles. So a bit of heavy damage there, and yeah, race control is going to have to unpack that one.
Yeah, definitely a bit of unpacking coming up. Let's have a look at Thomas Freeman. He's up 5 spots. James Scott's got himself in the 50s, working his way through quite well here. Just trying to work out why that didn't come back on there. So continuing on with our race, we've got a few guys wondering what's going on. Jesse McMahon, let's go Ricky Bobby and Sibra. So yeah, we've got live pictures back. A bit of a delay, I think, but in there. But anyway, it's all working, Mark. As Craig Schultz and Thomas Freeman here in a great little battle, working their way through, and plenty of pressure behind here, of course, with James Scott sitting in the middle of this battle, trying to get himself through as well.
Yeah, hats off to Anthony Visma too. He's started on pole, but he's done an excellent job. He's driving really well. I'm sure he's got Greg Favell in his ear telling him he's going too slow, and Greg will be looking after his pit strategy as well. But Dylan O'Shea starting to close him down. It was out to 2 seconds 3 laps ago, and it's down under a second now. So Dylan really looking to pounce as early as possible and try and open up as big a gap as he can on James Scott, while I was going to say, well, James is trying to thread his way through, but James has already threaded his way through. And he's the car behind Dylan O'Shea now, so these boys are going to be under all sorts of pressure in no short time at all, because James Scott will be coming at a ferocious pace.
Jordan Scott there working his way through that little group there. Just going to jump back up onto Viz, as we've got a drive-through penalty for the 919 for causing an incident. 919, of course, is Michael Stewart. So we missed that one with a little hiccups before, so apologies for that. But Anthony Visma is 7/10 ahead of O'Shea now. O'Shea is closing that gap quickly.
Yeah, Thomas Freeman, another one doing a great job. He's in P4, he's up 5 spots. He's tucked up a couple of car lengths back from James Scott, and he'll be looking to just follow James all the way up to the back of these guys in front if he can, and look to get himself on the podium. But at the moment we've still got Anthony Visma out in front, Dylan O'Shea in P2, followed by James Scott, Thomas Freeman, Jordan Ross, Robbie Gibbs doing an outstanding job as well into P6, Tom Freer in P7, Craig Schultz in P8, Zach McDonald, and the young Minnow Delaney in P10.
And Gibbs just getting a drive through as well for contact with a 0.33. So a few things happening here that will have an effect on the outcome of the race, keeping race control busy. Just going to have a quick look here. Just want to make a quick comment of this young fella up 6 spots in 10th. It's the minnow, Ty Delaney from Fishy Motorsports. He has Mulford behind, young Zach Mack in front, and he is definitely trying to work his way around the battles that he's with. Just going to go a little bit further back. Dylan Gray, he's got himself back up after being out of the first race with a quarter toe. He's got himself up into 20th, so that's a great start for him. And this round here as Mulford goes in for his compulsory. And Ryan Carlson in 15th as well, another name we haven't mentioned much of this evening. So
Timmy Mulford in for his pit stop, John. Probably looking to try and get an undercut on Ty here, but I don't know if Ty takes after his father Blake, who is, we know how well Blake is at fuel saving, and I'm sure he's teaching young Ty that that's the best way to make positions, is save as much fuel as you can.
Yeah, definitely has some good mentors over there at Fishy, young Ty. As we can see, Anthony Visma, he would definitely be getting the hurry up from Greg Favell now, with Dylan O'Shea all over the back of him. Has done well though to lead for 8 laps. Feathering his cap would be a good experience for the Viz, coming back into racing with vets after a couple of seasons in race control as we head to season 19 there. So a little bit of a slight tut there, I think. So looking forward to see how the Viz goes when he slots back into the main action with Greg. Back on the mend, which is great to hear. Here this week, I heard on the weekend that he's been out and even done some officials. So great to see them getting back in the action.
Absolutely, and can't thank them enough for contributing to the sim racing community by volunteering for race control. It's such an important job for every league to have volunteers, and that goes for vets, the Pro Series, and of course here at East Coast we all rely on other sim racers to give up their time and allow the series to unfold in front of our eyes each week.
Yeah, definitely greatly appreciated. Of course, not to forget too, our own race control we've got here at East Coast, which tonight have a very experienced crew in, of course, with Richard Varela looking after the safety car, and then we've got Reg James as our chief race steward tonight, and we've got David Worrell in tonight as well as a race steward, and they have a very special race steward in this evening, and that is one David Baldock. So he'd definitely be there overseeing the old, if something goes wrong, did this ever happen to me, would be the scenario they'd be rolling out with. So anyway, greatly appreciate the time that those 4 lads put into to keep this series rolling along. As we can see, Simon Chadwick now all over the back of Ty Delaney as well, and James Scott's now caught up to the Viz.
Yeah, Dylan O'Shea's through, James Scott working over Visma there. I did see James Scott disappear off my screen there, so I hope he doesn't have any connection.
He's back. Yeah, I saw him go too. I thought, oh, here we go. It's all going to play up again. But we can see here we've got O'Shea, Visma, Scott. You can see Freeman tucked up behind him. A little bit further back we go to Ross the Boss. Tom Freer tucked up not too far behind Jordan. So a few boys here making some good moves in this race. Dylan Ray's another one. He's up 28 spots. As we're seeing a few more roll into the pits. Gibbs, Chadwick, Carlson. As Scott gets up the inside, Freer comes with him. Visma loses 2 spots there in one move, but definitely plays it safe, keeps the car in one piece. Trick now for Anthony would be to tuck up behind Freeman. Try and use his slipstream. Try and hang on, son. That's what I'd be saying to him. Because you're going to have Ross the Boss coming if you can't. So it's going to go a bit further back in 10th at the moment. We've got Jeff Thomas from JWM Esports, B Motorsports. He's having a great drive as well. One of our veterans in the series, running in the Super 2 Vets class. And he's looking very strong this evening. And
yeah, just a great driver. He's one of them real quiet achievers, John. He doesn't say a lot, but he's very friendly when you do get to talk to him. But yeah, he's one of them quiet achievers that just chips away, and then all of a sudden you look at the leaderboard and you go, oh wow, he's there again. So doing a great job there in 10th place, all over the back of Zach McDonald at the moment. They've got Ty Delaney just in front of them.
Yeah, definitely going to be a good battle to see how those guys roll out. It's just going to jump back up with O'Shea. O'Shea now has Scott tucked up behind him. So he tries a little bit of a move there, try and break the toe. So James Scott and Thomas Freeman as Delaney, McDonald and Thomas all go into the pits for their stop. As jump on the nose here as we come over the top with Freeman. You can see Scott, we can see O'Shea in front of him coming down the back straightaway towards the inner loop. Not close enough for James Scott. Going to have to tuck back in behind through the inner loop and around the outer loop. Definitely using the tyre saving. Look after the tyres. As we said, it's going to be some interesting stops in this race.
Yeah, we're nearly halfway through, John. We're on lap 11 of 25, so not too far away from the halfway point. And see Dylan O'Shea just struggling a little bit with exit grip there, but it's all about car placement here. You really have to put the car in the right spot because you really need good throttle application around here. The car wants to step away on almost every corner, but yeah, you can really eat the tyres up quickly around here. And James Scott putting all sorts of pressure on Dylan at the moment, and Thomas Freeman, of course, just sitting there waiting to pounce. We see James Scott get the move done there.
Yeah, nicely done. As continuing a bit further, Freeman's going to try and get a move done here as well, I think. He's been sitting here waiting for something. Not quite.
We saw Freeman and O'Shea have a great battle in race 1, and it continues here in race 2.
Definitely tucked up well and truly behind. Let's watch these guys head up the hill now on lap 12 as they come up over the crest. Oh, touching the wall there from O'Shea. That may have a bit of an effect to the car. You can see he's a little bit slower coming out of the apex of that corner as he comes into the bus stop. And we'd definitely be seeing a slightly slower car. O'Shea's got Freeman past. I'm interested to see if Visma catches up and what sort of damage he's done as they head down into the laces. And then an incident involving Will Munro, Blake Gallen and Peter Pavic. I did see an accident pop up. We might see if we can find that one for you guys to have a look at. Just bear with me for 1 second. We go to the Supercheap Auto replay. As we can see, we have, oh yeah, that's definitely not a good move from young Blake. I think the stewards will be having a look at that one. A little bit unlucky for Will to be caught, Will to be caught up in that one. For some reason I was thinking Hamish. As we continue on, another great battle. We haven't spoken too much about this young fella from Team's Jinx Shifter, Aaron Gilbert. He's having a good little battle here with Rick Sibra, Dylan Gray and Jacob O'Reilly. So good little battles everywhere, Mark.
Yeah, it's really the top 15's mixed the field up here a bit, but yeah, there's some great on-track action all over the racetrack at the moment. And yeah, Dylan Gray, Aaron Gilbert, Jacob O'Reilly, nose to tail, fighting hard for their positions just around the top 10. Aaron Gilbert hanging on to 10th position at the moment, but he's up to 9th. Jacob O'Reilly into 10th, and Dylan Gray back to 11th. Just behind them, we've got Damien Cross doing a great job. Another one I haven't mentioned much in this race, Craig Schultz still holding down 6th place, and the WK&P driver, Chris Blanchard, who's been driving extremely well this week and last week, currently holding on to 8th spot.
Yeah, Rick Sibra there just getting the move done. Or Ricky Bobby, as his fan club like to call him. And yeah, Gal gets the penalty. With contact Will Munro, gets a drive through. And great to see these boys. Blanchy been working very hard and enjoying his driving that he's been getting. Dave Coleman's just been passed by Robbie Gibbs. Both of these boys have made their stops. We might just quickly go to the pit strategy window so people can see the top 20 have not stopped yet. We go back to the battle box. And James Scott is into the pits early. So Thomas Freeman is going to take over our race lead. The Viz is in as well. Ross the Boss staying out. Freya staying out. So it's interesting to see Scott going in early. Obviously thinking of an undercut maybe.
Yeah, we do normally see James being one of the last to pit, but he's changed it up this week. Probably feeling that he could probably gain a little bit with an earlier pit stop, maybe just pick up a second on that outlap. Sean McNamara, as we saw earlier, involved in an incident with Damien Johnson, where Damien had a slight spin in front of him. Sean left with nowhere to go, had to pit very early on lap 3 or 4, I think it was. Saw him fall all the way to the rear of the field, made his way up into 13th. So absolutely outstanding driving from Sean. He's got Anthony Bisma coming out just in front of him.
Yeah, he's doing very well, trying to recover. Don't forget too, this race is worth 2/3 round points. So definitely a lot on the line compared to what we had in race 1 for these lads. But Macca just about in the top 10 here. It's be interesting to see if he can make the tyres last a distance, as we're on 14 or 25 at the moment.
I think he's really going to probably suffer in that back end of the last 8 laps.
Can you please redress
Really
with car number 38?
Feel like
please
he's got
redress with car
bars of
38.
soap underneath him, but Sean's a very experienced pedaler, and I'm sure he'll be trying to drive the car as straight as he possibly can.
And Jacob O'Reilly gets himself past Coleman around the outside. That is a big move there too. As Thomas Freeman now pits, probably trying to cover off the James Scott pit. Schultz is in as well. So we've just about seen all the top 10 pit now. As we start to see some of these pit strategies roll out. O'Shea, we know, pitted on lap 12. Gibbs went in on a lap 11. Rudd went in on lap 5. So definitely some interesting strategies being played out by these boys. Just for those playing along at home, we'll have a quick look at the pit time as well. And looking at that, Robert Gibbs, I think, might have just done the tyres. Sorry, might have just done the litre of fuel. His pit box time was 3.3 seconds. Cam Jones was 4. Carlson's gone 15. And O'Shea was 10, 9. So we can see he's done tyres, and we can see who hasn't. McNamara was only in for 0.8. So I think he's just rolled in and gotten a fast repair, Mark.
Yeah, it definitely looks that way, John. That makes me think, well, it was pretty early on in the race. I'm not sure what lap it was, so probably no point taking tyres. He might not have got a real gain anyway, because his tyres were still pretty fresh.
Yeah.
But James Scott has been able to get past Dylan O'Shea there to take the lead.
So Gibbs and Jones will be the ones to watch, I think, Mark. They're the ones, I think, that have gone the fuel-only route. Sorry, the litre of fuel-only route. Haven't taken tyres. So keep an eye on how their performances go as we come towards the end of the battle. As That will be quite interesting to see, I think. Freo, Ross drop out. No, Freo and Ross are in front. Pete, sorry about that, mate. Jordan still hasn't pitted, nor has Tom. They're circulating quite well at the moment. The boys back in 3 is Sibra. Sibra hasn't pitted as well. Blanche has gone in for his pit stop, and the man in 5th at the moment, James Scott, is the leader of our stoppers. But Ross the boss still has P1 next to his name, and I know that's the way he likes it. And Tom hanging on to the back there as well. So interesting to see how those boys go. Obviously working together, being teammates. And yeah, I think you're probably surprised as I am, Pete, that yeah, Ross is in P1. As we continue on, going back, Chadwick McDonald, good little battle pack here as well. Timmy Mulford in front of them. Mulford looking a little bit loose there, coming over the bridge as well through the S's. So definitely some good battles about the roll in. Blanchard comes out, seeing a few boys in. Dylan Gray.
Yeah, this reverse top 15, John, has really thrown the cat amongst the pigeon. It's really kind of mixed up the pitch strategy, it's mixed up the on-track strategy, and it's mixed up who's racing who at the moment, but we still see the regular protagonist up the front. The big loser tonight is Dylan Rudd, where he, I think, got a slight touch from Travis Hunt. I think Travis issued a drive-through for that one, but yeah, made a real mess of Dylan's race, and unfortunately he's back in 20th at the moment. I expect him to make his way forward with 9 laps to go, but yeah, it's put probably an end to his chances of getting on the podium tonight.
Yeah, definitely a big blow as Ross and Freya both duck into the pits now as well. Lap 17 to 25. So we will try and keep an eye on what their times are when they get into that pit lane. It's going to jump in onto the pit time. So they haven't come out yet to give us a time, but we'll know in a second whether they've just done tyres or whether they've just put it up on the jacks and stopped. As an incident with 44 with Stone Street and Hunt has been noted. These boys going down a fair way. Just trying to find where Jordan Ross is, back in 15th, I think. Oh, it's got him back on top, so I'm not sure what's going on there.
Yeah, I was just looking at my my results, and Jordan's still out on track. So.
Yeah, sorry about that. I hope he realises he's got to do a compulsory. Hey, just some interesting stuff happening for us.
Oh, yeah, we've got Jordan Ross still out in front, Tom Freer in P2. James Scott is about 23.5 seconds behind, and James has already done his compulsory pit stop. So I think James has probably got these two well and truly covered. Thomas Freeman not that far behind James, under a second. Yeah, probably half a second at the moment behind Dylan O'Shea. And then Anthony Visma still hanging on to P6, doing a great job for his team. And Sean McNamara come back of the night so far. He's currently sitting P7. So if he can get them tyres to hang on for just 7.5 more laps, that will be a good night's work from Sean.
It will be very good.
Another one I want to give a quick shout out to is Oceane Colangelo, a young girl, very, very young. I believe she's does a bit of karting and looking to progress through motorsport, and great to have a young female driver out there having a go with us in the East Coast Series. She's probably got a lot to learn on the iRacing platform, but she's out there having a go, and she's not giving anything away, doing a great job, and yeah, just wish her all the best in her motorsport career.
Yeah, in a great little battle here with Blake Gallen as well. So definitely learning a lot, and racing in a competitive environment all helps. And doing well. And just going to jump back up. Thomas Freeman still under a lot of pressure from Dylan O'Shea. You can see James Scott tucked in front, still waiting for Freer and Ross to pit. Lap 19 now with 25, so getting to the pointy end of the race. And some other good little battles on track, of course, is Zach McDonald and Chadwick. And these two hunting down Tim Mulford in front of them. So Tim doing really well to have himself sitting in the top 10 at the moment. So great to have a couple of our Super 2 boys up the pointy end of the grid.
Yeah, absolutely. Tim's had an outstanding night tonight. He had a great race in race 1, as did Craig Schultz. And they're doing exactly what they need to do in race 2 as well. He's under a fair bit of pressure at the moment from Simon Chadwick. We know Simon's been out of the rig for a while, but he's making a comeback and he's racing really well, and he's always been a pretty hard charger. And yeah, Tim and Simon have done plenty of laps together over the years in various series, so I expect this one to be fought long and hard all the way to the checkered flag.
Yeah, definitely going to be. As jumping back up the front, these boys here still going relatively well. Freer has pulled away from Ross. Still need to stop though. They got 20-second stop up their sleeve back to James Scott. So I'd probably say going this deep into the race, Mark, they're only going to put the car on the jacks to put the leader in, I think.
Yeah, definitely. It's still a fairly long pit lane, but there's still a bit of a transit time in the pit lane here, so I'm going to guess that they're probably going to come out around where Thomas Freeman, Dylan O'Shea are, so maybe even a little bit further back than that, but yeah, these boys are probably going to hang on till the very, very end, hoping for a safety car possibly, but this track doesn't dish out too many safety cars, so they might be wishful thinking.
Yeah, they're definitely trying something a little bit different. I think just doing some quick maths there, I think you're looking at about a 30-second transition down pit lane. That's what these guys will be looking for. 20 seconds, 22. Yeah, they'll be about Visma McNamara.
Yeah, and of course we've got to get back up to race speed as well.
That's the other battle. Just going to go back a little bit further. Have a look how our friend Dylan Gray is getting on. Got him sitting in 21st. He's having a bit loose from the Coleman. Dave manages to hang on. Gray manages to pull up alongside into the inner loop, side by side. Gray slips through. A little bit on the grass there. Can he hang on to it? Oh, great little tough battle between these two. Working his way around.
Yeah, Dylan did a great job to hang on there. I thought that car was going to really step sideways, but Dylan got it under control again and lived to fight another day, but he's under all sorts of pressure at the moment from Dave Coleman from the Fishy Motorsport team.
And another good little battle on track here. We've got ourselves Keane. Oh, hang on, son. Hancock was in that. Michael Stewart. Dave Kirby's tucked up behind these guys with John O'Gallen as well. So definitely a few battles starting to develop around the place. It's going to go back to our mate Timmy Mulford. Still getting the pressure applied to him from Simon Chadwick. As Tom Freer leads us around for lap 21.
Yep, 4.5 laps to go, John. They don't have long to come in and take that compulsory stop, so Going to be very interesting to see how far they plummet down the order there. Like I said, I think they're going to come out around just in front of Anthony Visma.
It's going to be tight. Tim Hancock, who we were just on a second ago, involved in an incident, is going to go to the Cheap Auto replay. I've jumped on John Gallen. I want to be on Hancock. Try again. Sorry about that. So Hancock coming into turn 10, sorry. 9. I'll get it right in a minute. That is a common spot to spin it round into the wall. He's done well not to get in the way, and I think he might have even towed by mistake. So we'll go back to live pictures. I know he's still sitting there. So you got the car going. Back to live pictures, back with Mulford. This is a great little battle. Mulford, Chadwick, McDonald, Delaney. Robbie Gibbs starting to catch the back of this pack pretty quickly as well. We're up 22 or 25. He's going to jump on with Dylan O'Shea. He's got himself sitting in 4th spot. Opened up a little bit of gap now onto Freeman. Only talking a couple of tenths, but it's still a little bit. And then, of course, Tom Freer and Ross the Boss still need to have their compulsory stops as they commence lap 22 or 25. So it's ticking down.
3.5 to go, John. They don't have long to get that stop done. Their lead over James Scott at the moment is down to 19 seconds, so that's just slowly ebbing away with each lap counting down. They've got about 23 seconds over Dylan O'Shea and 23.5 over Thomas Freeman, and then 36 seconds back to Anthony Visma. So I think they've got Visma covered, but I'm not sure that they're going to cover O'Shea and Freeman. It's going to be tight, and it's going to be a very interesting final few laps.
It's going to be, I think. It's really shaping up. Of course, the battle of O'Shea and Freeman. We've got this battle back here with McDonald, Mulford, who's managed to pull away a little bit. Young Ty Delaney, he is like a shark with a bit of bait in front of him. He is definitely chasing the lure very hard here of McDonald and Mulford and Chadwick. So keep an eye on what he does over these last couple of laps. Just going to see Robbie Gibbs has managed to latch onto the back of this group as well. So I don't think it's all decided with this group. Just going to jump back on with Freeman. Sorry, Freer. As he comes up onto the back straightaway on lap 23. So probably expect to see them in maybe at the end of next lap, Mark.
Yeah, Tom's had a great night of racing. We often see him not set a qualifying lap, and he likes to test himself and drive through the field, but he's qualified tonight and he finished P2 in race 1, and he's currently leading race 2. So an excellent night of racing for Tom, and showing us how good he is behind the wheel of that Synergy Sim Racing Mustang.
Yeah, definitely doing really well. Dylan Rudd, another man we need to talk about, as he's caught in the middle here between Blanchard and Jones. And looks like the two of them have managed to hang on to their spots, but Dylan's fought his way back to 18th. That's a fair crack, considering the situation he was in early in the race. As I believe this time the boys are in the pits. I think, no, they're not. About to come in the pits, I think, this time. Or is it going to be the next time? I think we're in.
Yeah, Tom Frere's looking like he's pit.
Pull it up. Very tricky pit entry here too to get it right. You have very little time to deaccelerate. As these two boys are in, let's keep an eye on James Scott now as he comes through turn 11. He will take the leader's position coming down the start-finish straight away. Doing a great job there.
Here comes Dylan O'Shea as well. Tom Frere's off the Jackson going.
Freeman's going to go through in the third. Where's the Viz? Here comes the Viz. He's heading down the start-finish straight away. As the boys are rolling, I think we're back on track already.
Yeah, they're back on track. So Tom Freer's in fourth, Jordan Ross in fifth. So yeah, James Scott was taking the lead, followed by Dylan O'Shea, Thomas Freeman, Tom Freer, Jordan Ross, Anthony Bisma, Sean McNamara, Craig Schultz, Tim Mulford, Zach McDonald is your top 10 with 1.5 laps to go.
Yes, it'll be very interesting to see how it folds out. But definitely been a cracking race out of these guys to get themselves back up the front. That looks like Freeman on the grass.
Looks like Colangelo just didn't realise where Freeman was then. Freeman's managed to hang on. That could have been very, very costly.
He's managed to hang on to that spot. He's still got a good 2 seconds up the road from Tom Freer. Just going to do a quick pit time check. Freer and Ross, yeah, just put it on the jacks and took a litre of fuel like we expected they were going to do. It's all right, Tim. We all sit there and look at that as well. When you look at James Scott, he is the best, if not one of the best in the game going around in this business on iRacing. He is almost alien, and the guys who run with him aren't too far behind. Know exactly how you feel. But come and do vets. It's a big difference from the mid-pack of split 3 to the front of split 1. So I fully understand. But keep battling away, mate. Enjoy the racing. Enjoy the blokes you race around. You'll get quicker, and then you find new blokes to race around, and before you know it, you're up near the pointy end. As James Scott here doing an absolutely awesome job for Lobs Esports. He has dominated again this evening like he does every week, showing the skills that he has. He's had a good drive. Dylan O'Shea in second. He'd be pretty happy with that. Tom Freeman, he's going to round out our leaderboard. So, someone in the back. That might have been Shannon. So, definitely getting our way through here with James. He'd be starting to get himself prepared for a big year ahead. Looking to compete for the title, take on Madison Down in the Pro Series. Definitely be on Lob Esports' agenda. I know we've got Jared Philsell setting pre-qual times this evening, trying to get himself into the qualifying series for the Pro Series. But tonight, it's all about this bloke, James Scott. He's going to bring it home 6 seconds up the road. Dylan Rudd is going to round it out in second place. Thomas Freeman's going to bring it home in third. Great drive from Thomas. Tom Freer, he's done well in fourth. Fifth is Jordan Ross. Ross the boss will be happy with that, I think. Anthony Visma, great effort from the bloke who finished 15th in race 1. He's going to get himself home in 6th. I'm sure he'll get the approval of Greg Favell for that. Macca pitted very early. He's got himself home in 7th. Left front of teammate Schultz, Mulford in 9th. Jacob O'Reilly rounds out our 10 from Robbie Gibbs. Great drive from Robbie. Simon Chadwick in 12th. The Minnow himself gets himself home in 13th. That's a great drive for Ty. Finished 16th in race 1. He'd be pretty happy with that race result. Thomas Sibra, Dylan Rudd, after the incident at the start of the race, has got himself back up to 16th. Dylan Gray up 29 spots in the 17th. Great drive from our Super 2 champion. Aaron Gilbert home in 18th. Cam Jones 19, and Dave Coleman rounds out our top 20 mark. It has been another very, very busy night for these guys.
That was a great night of racing, John. We saw some epic battles out there. James Scott dominant once again. I think we're pretty blessed to have James turn up every week and take it as seriously as he does. He obviously loves his racing, and
Congratulations to the podium in both races.
Seems to get quicker and
great
quicker
racing
every
out there,
week.
guys.
Dylan O'Shea, great effort to
Thank
finish
you very
P2.
much.
Thomas
If
Freeman
the
rounding out the
getters for
podium in
both
P3. I think
please
Anthony
pop into the
Visma
green room and have a chat with John and
big
Mark.
shout out
Amazing.
for
Thank you very much once again.
finishing
We'll see you next
P6.
week.
I think
We will
he'd
be
be
in racing
very,
Rock
very
on
happy
the
with
next
that.
chat.
And Sean McNamara comeback of the night after
Thank you,
being
sir.
involved in an incident that was nothing of his own doing, and took that very early pit stop to get his fast repair and managed to get back inside the top 10 and some valuable points for that golden ticket.
Yeah, done very well. We might start off by having a chat to the fella that finished himself on fourth, but with his results this evening, he will be on the podium, and that is Tom Freer. What a drive, Tom.
Yeah, thanks. It's feels like somewhat of a return to form, to be honest, because losing some key figures at the end of last year, we weren't really sure where we would be this year, but we worked pretty well together this week, and it's just nice to have a good hit out.
Yeah, interesting strategy going long, just putting the litre of fuel in. How did you find looking after the tyres through that stint?
Terrible. I didn't consider the invert for the second race, and unfortunately I just buzzed the tyre a little bit too much, and yeah, it was all over. It probably wasn't going to work anyway, but I figured once everyone started pitting, I was in 8th, so to come home 4th, it's probably not that bad in the end.
That's not too bad as well. You can take that one. Next bloke we'll have a quick chat to what we've got in here, of course, is Dylan O'Shea. Finished second in the second race and made up 8 spots. How'd you find that, Dylan?
Yeah, it wasn't too bad. Reverse grid definitely helped me there. It was lacking a bit of pace. And but yeah, no, it was an alright night.
That's all right. That's good, mate. And the other man in the room we'll have a quick chat to as well is Dylan Rudd. Dylan did very well in that first race. Caught out a little bit early on in the second race there, Dylan, but you fought back really well, mate. You should be pretty proud with your efforts with that one.
Yeah, not pretty happy considering what happened on, I think it was lap 4 or something. But yeah, I was decent enough to drive back through the field somewhat, so pretty happy.
You did well, mate. And James, you've done it all again, buddy. How'd you find having 15 cars in front of you going into that second race?
It was pretty wild, especially like the first lap up the S's. I was a little worried someone was, it's easy to understeer off and hit the wall and then end up on your lid and cause complete chaos. But luckily to not come here and no safety cars, pretty good. Yeah, I got a good start. Got a past a few on the first lap, and then car was okay. We made a change before the race in practice, and I'm still not sure if it was better or not, but a bit different to drive, so I had to get used to that. But once we settled in, it was good.
It's good, mate. And anyone you want to give a shout out to, James?
Yep. Obviously, all the guys at Lobs Esports. Dylan as well for a good first race. Second race, unlucky, but it's racing. Rocco as well. Head over there and grab a setup. Look at some data and stuff like that. You guys for the broadcast, the series admin, and the rest of the podium guys as well. Some good clean racing and hard racing. So good to see.
Good to see. Dylan, Dylan O'Shea, Rudd. I'll let James has done yours, mate. Dylan O'Shea, anyone you want to give a shout out to?
Yeah, just a shout out to the 9-5 boys for putting the effort into for the dock, and then the sponsors: Racecraft, Simulations, Turn-In Race Apparel, RSW Graphics, Racing Years, and Prestige Cinematography.
Too easy. And Tom, what about you, mate? Anyone you want to give a shout out to?
Yeah, probably just a thanks to Works Racing Components and Watercraft Performance Centre, and all the guys back at SSR, and obviously you guys for putting on the broadcast every week.
Too easy. So, lads, next week It's Zandvoort GP, 200k race, so 47 laps. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, never driven the track before, so need to buy it and do a few laps.
It's an interesting track too, because don't forget too, it's that iRacing updated it at the start of or halfway through last year to include the banked curving that they brought in for Formula One, which they used I think last year as well, where buddy Ricciardo broke his hand. I know I've done one race meeting there for can't remember which league it was, but it was very interesting putting the these cars through that banked curving. So it'll be interesting to see how you boys tackle it, being a little bit more elite than me. But I think it'll produce some good racing. So looking forward to seeing how you guys tackle that circuit. Anyway, on that note, guys, we might wrap up our broadcast tonight. A huge thank you to you boys coming in and having a chat. Of course, a huge thank you to everybody else out racing this evening. Great to have 47 or 46 cars out on track. Some great racing up and down the field. Awesome stuff to see from everybody. Huge thank you to everybody out in the chat as well. It's Facebook chat going this evening. And yeah, Terry, Andrew, you'll get those points, mate. I had them earlier on in the race. We'll announce that again when we get into the next one. And great to have you back, mate. You are our number one supporter. It is awesome having you here every week watching us. We really appreciate you turning up. And then, of course, the other man himself is Thomas Freeman, who's come in to have a chat as well from Fishy. We'll have a quick chat. And, of course, the other one I'd like to thank as well is our race control, our league admins as well. And, Thomas, third in that one, mate, in the feature race. How'd you find that?
Yeah, it was how you going, guys? It's been a hot minute. Yeah, look, it was really good. It was just good to keep up with O'Shea and Scott for a little bit. I think the tow definitely helped me with Scott, but yeah, just good to have some pace and fight with them guys tonight.
It's good. And
you had a good qualifying, mate, and putting yourself in the mix. It makes a big difference when you can qualify inside that top 10, eh?
Yeah, Duggan, it was actually really good. I think I got a little bit unlucky there. A car was parked at the last corner in my last qualifying run, and I was a tenth and a half up, and that's all I needed to put the car up a little bit further. But yeah, I mean, it was awesome battling in both races for me, and we kept it clean. So, but you're right, 100%. Hopefully, I can qualify that great for the rest of the season in East Coast, and hopefully in other races to come as well.
Anyone you want to give a shout out to, Thomas?
Thanks, boys. Thanks to Race Control. Thanks to boys. Thanks to all the league admins, Fishy Motorsports, all our sponsors, and Mum and Dad for tuning into your stream and also my stream as well. So thanks, guys.
Too easy, Thomas. Thanks very much for jumping in. And
thanks, boys.
On that note, we will wrap up the broadcast and we will see everybody again next week. Thanks for watching.
There's no arguing that people love their cars.
We weren't arguing.
They talk about their cars, sing about their cars. Some people even look like their car. Whether it's an old car, new old car, fast car, family car, electric car, race car, two-wheel car, no-wheel car, or a car you know's parked around here somewhere. People who love their cars love to tinker with them. Some people tinker big, some people tinker small. Some people tinker some degree between those two variables.
Whose voice is that?
And that's where Supercheap Auto comes in. We've been helping people tinker for 50 years. For people like Bill, Lucy, Kevin, other Kevin.
Oi, get off my car!
Didn't catch this guy's name.
It's Kevin.
Not Patrick. He doesn't shop with us. Whoever you are, whatever you drive, we'll help you make it super. Because super is our middle name.